Hi, I'm Crystal. Today I'm gonna talk about a word that might be helpful for the people who have trouble understanding Korean people. This word is called yeoyoo. I couldn't really find this in English dictionary. I don't think it exists in English. But of course I can explain it in English. Like you have it, like it's just a word, like exact word that you don't have. Well, this word is actually based on Chinese letter. So it has the meaning like ya means leftover and you means enough. So it means enough leftovers. You can use this with time, money, or food, and also space. Like you can use it with everything. Like right now, I would say I have yeoyoo time, I have yeoyoo space, I don't have yeoyoo money, I don't have yeoyoo in mind. Like I would say so many Korean people don't have yeoyoo in their head and the mind. That is why you might not understand them, you know. That is why you might have had trouble with them. So I'm gonna talk about this word in many situations. Like I was gonna talk about like situation at work and traffic and also relationship. So let me explain to you about it. In Korea, I would say about 20 years ago, we used to work for 6 days and we had to go to school for 6 days a week. These days, it's like 5 days, and like still there are people who work for 6 days. So I feel sorry for them. But well, it means more money though, right? I might talk about my work more because I work as an English teacher. It's not school. It's not students go to school. It's like after school. If you are aware of Korean culture, you have. I'm pretty sure you must have heard it. So there are these after school classes that are called like academies. It's not like school tutor. It's private tutor that they pay for, you know. On average, I heard parents have to spend about like maybe $1,000 like US dollars for a kid to go to these academies, like because the basic academies they send are English and math, so that's the cheapest. But I had a student who go to like 12 academies. So if I tell you about this student, you will be shocked. So this girl was only 11 years old. So her parents, if I tell you about these parents, her mom used to be a researcher, but she had to quit a job because she had this lovely daughter. And then she dreamed of making her daughter become like her, like to be a researcher, to like be her dream, you know. So what she did was that she just made her go to many academies. The thing is that, well, she enjoyed it. It was surprising. Like I had so many students who go to so many academies, but this girl really enjoyed it. Like she went to 12 academies. So if I explain to you, she went to 3 English classes. One was with me, like actually 2 was with me, because one was like private lesson at her home. So I had class with her like after every schedule she had. So I had class with her at like 11 p.m. She was 11 years old. And then she came to the academy I worked. So she also had another English class. And then she had English speaking class online. She had math class. And then she had genius math class. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's different math thingy. And then she had Korean class and Korean reading class, science class, and she had to do some artistic things. So she went to piano class and she needed exercise. So she went to swimming class. I forgot what two things she went, but in total it was 12. Maybe it was about philosophy or something like that. So there are so many kinds of academies, maybe art class or something like that. So I was kind of shocked because like only age of 11 she went to bed at like 3 a.m. because she had to do homework, and she got up at 6 or 7 a.m. to have other classes, you know. So it was surprising that she grew up, you know. She went to a good high school and good university. I didn't really get to keep in touch with her later after she graduated. But like this, in Korea it is very competitive. So the reason why they have to go to these private lesson classes are because it is so competitive. In school they want to do better, so they study in like academies. Then because their levels go really high up, this school has to go up, and this will go more like up and up, and it's just right now it's the hell, you know. So I actually teach in private lessons, but I don't like this system, you know, like I don't like Korean education system. So if I talk about this, you already know already the teenagers don't have yeoyoo. So the only time that they can spend is like on the phone. They don't have time to get rid of stress. They don't have time to play outside with their friends. Like if they play with friends, they feel guilty, and their parents will blame them. But it's not everyone. It's not for every single one. But I would say typical Korean students do that kind of thing. So it was the same at work. So when I worked in a big academy, it was the same. Like because it was big academy, it was same as big company, and we only had like 1 hour for lunchtime. So we started work at 9 a.m. and finished at like 7 p.m. So the total that I worked were 10 hours, and 1 hour was lunchtime. So technically I worked for 9 hours. But for 9 hours, I couldn't have a break, because for 5 to 6 hours I had to teach, and other hours I had to get prepared for class, and I had to call moms and give them feedback how the students were doing. And if I finish early, I was trying to have my time, like maybe 10 minutes, maybe sometimes 30 minutes. Then my boss will come to me and say, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you having break at work? You here to get paid. You cannot have break. You had lunchtime." Then I would say, "I've done all my work. What should I do?" And she was like, "You have to find own work. You have to help others. You have to go do something. Do something to get paid." So I was shocked. It was really hard for me to stay in that work area. The funny thing was that there were 10 foreign teachers, like 10 English speaking teachers, and they were just having really good time in teacher's room. They had like 4 to 5 classes a day, and if like when they don't have class, of course they get prepared for class, but that's it. Like they didn't have to call moms. They were just talking. They were researching on their computer or phone. They were just having their time, and this boss didn't say anything to them because it was their culture. But because I was Korean, I had to work. I had to keep working and working and working again, like a machine, you know. That's what Korean people do, you know. Even though I'm an English teacher, even though I was working in a very, very English speaking international school, I had to do the same thing, you know. If I talk with my friends about this, my friends' work is like even worse. Yeah. So the thing is that, especially at my work, the problem was that there were not enough teachers because the school don't want to have an extra teacher. They don't want to pay the teacher who don't work, you know. So what I mean is that if I have a car accident, for example, I cannot stay in the hospital. I have to go to work, or I have to quit because they have to hire another teacher. They cannot keep me because there is no extra teacher who can go into the classroom right away. They never have an extra teacher to have classes for, like, instead. They think it's waste of money. So always teachers had full classes, like full-time classes. That's why they called us full-time job. And because we were having full-time job, they didn't need any other teacher who could make up the classes, you know. Then I moved to this small academy. In Korea, like, academy is called hagwon. I would say hagwon is like different from academy. So from now on, I might just call it hagwon. At hagwon that I work at is more free, but still, my boss still wants me to work more. That's why I had to work until like 2 a.m. But I actually felt thankful to COVID because I couldn't work that much. Students left and I couldn't have classes that much. So thanks to COVID, I had less classes. Well, I made less money, of course, but when I had yeoyoo full time, it became better. Well, even if I have yeoyoo for money, so that's what they do for Korean people. They study all day, they work all day, lose their health, and then they just spend all the money at the hospital. How sad is it? Well, it's different these days. Like, the 20s are different. But I would say over 30s are having this kind of a problem, I would say. Like, maybe not 30s. I would say the people who are over 40s now. So that's why Korean people always say we don't have yeoyoo here and here. You know, we don't have time to go to hospital. We don't have time to go to bank. You know, like, I couldn't even go to the bank. How funny is it? I had to go to bank if I want to in lunchtime. Like, you know, like, it's hard because banks usually open at like 9 to 4, 10 to 9, 10 to 4, 9 to 4 or 10 to 4. So that time I was at work. So if I have to go to bank, I had to use my lunchtime. Or if I have to go to hospital because I was sick, I had to go there during lunchtime. But also hospital had lunchtime at 1 to 2 p.m., which was the same time with me. So it was like I always needed an excuse. Ooh. But the funny thing, if I tell you about this boss I was talking about, she was always online shopping. She was always being late and she was just shopping outside all the time. Some of the people saw her shopping in a shop during work time, right? So I'm gonna talk about this later. Like, it's about word thingy, but it's for another video. Second, I'm gonna talk about yeoyoo for money. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing for every other country. It is like economic problem. Everyone's struggling. It's not only Korea. All the countries are the same, corrupted, like everyone's struggling. It's hard to make money. But in Korea it's the same thing, but I feel a little weird. Maybe because it's a small country. Like When I spent money in when I lived in New Zealand or Canada, it was cheap to buy the products in grocery store. If I shop like vegetables or fruits, meat, it was really cheap. Well, it was really expensive when I eat out in other countries. But in Korea, it's not very different. So even if I buy products in the grocery store and cook, or if I eat out, or if I deliver something, they are not much different. Maybe that's why there are so many restaurants everywhere, you know. There are so many deliveries everywhere. So, like even if we make money, it is really hard to save, you know, because it is hard to buy things cheap. It is the basic thing though. It is food. We need food. We need house. I mean, it is not impossible to buy food, but I mean, buying food, eat out, not much different. Then I'm gonna talk about traffic. So I started driving in New Zealand, and then I drove in Canada. Then I started driving in Korea. So I had 3 different licenses and drove in other countries. When I travel, I drove in Japan or Guam as well. So I had experiences and had chance to compare. Well, in Korea, you'd find it is really hard to drive because they never compromise, never. So the thing is, if I turn on the signal to go into the right or left, the car at the behind will suddenly speed up so I cannot get in. You know, like when I was driving in Canada or New Zealand, well, it was not every time, but usually if I turned on the signal, they slowed down so I could get in and we went together. But in Korea, if I turn on, even though the car was far away, the car suddenly starts speeding up and I cannot get in there. And if I get in there, it's my fault. So it is really hard to drive, you know. And the traffic jam is horrible. And this kind of car accident makes more traffic jam. So it's just every time it's getting worse, you know. That's why there are so many car accidents, I would say. There are so many cars and they never compromise. Maybe they think if they compromise and someone gets in here, maybe they think they lose. I don't know why. So when we drive, all we need is also yeoyoo. So the last thing I'm gonna talk about yeoyoo is relationship. So for the people who had relationship with Korean people might have had this kind of experience. So I had some friends from like America, Canada, or other countries, and usually it's not about yeoyoo, but I'm gonna talk more about this relationship thing in another video. But if I tell you about Korean relationship, it's the same about yeoyoo. So the people who have yeoyoo in their mind, they are good at keeping touch, and they will be really kind, always answering on the phone, and they will be really sweet. But if they don't have yeoyoo, they wouldn't really talk to you. They wouldn't have time to call you. They wouldn't have time to date you. And the person is not really having time for you. The person doesn't have yeoyoo. So you should try to understand. However, well, to be honest, even if we don't have yeoyoo, if we like someone really much, we would make time. You know, I was the same. I always had a few jobs. Like, I don't always have one job. I had like English teacher job, influencer job, and another job like that. I still dated my husband before we got married. You know, like, I tried to see him because I missed him. I tried to call him, I tried to talk to him because I was wondering about him. I always missed him, you know. So if the person says he or she doesn't have a yeoyoo, it might be the reason. I would say they might not be that into you. It can be excuse. It can be real, but it can be also excuse. So you have to watch out. Because for my friends, I knew the reason was that they were not into my friends. But they made this excuse that they didn't have yeoyoo. And my friends were always waiting and waiting and waiting, and I felt really sorry. But if I talk about this, well, I'm pretty sure in Korea you might have heard Korean people just say, I love you, let's be girlfriend, boyfriend, I wanna date you, be in a relationship, right? So my friend was shocked and asked me like, do Korean people really like they do that? You know, like, and I was like, yeah. Yeah, we do that, right? So I would say because the reason why Korean people do like please be my boyfriend, please be my girlfriend, and start dating in an official relationship is because they don't want to waste time. Well, they have, like, these days, we have this time period to do like some, like we call it some, like there's something about it between us. You know, like we are seeing each other, we are having dinner together, there's something. So we call it like we have some. But Korean people don't like to have that for a long time because like, well, there are some people who don't want commitment, so they might not have that official relationship. But usually, you know, Korean people like label, so they like to put label on girlfriend or boyfriend. And also they would like to like just like they wouldn't like if they don't see the future, they wouldn't date because it's waste of time. They don't have enough time to do that. So it's the same thing when they do travel. So I went to a resort in Vietnam, and this manager in Vietnam was asking me why Korean people don't eat in the resort. And I was thinking about it. Because Korean people always research before they go somewhere, and then they visit the restaurant that many people visit. Well, one reason why they do is because, of course, they want to eat delicious food. But also because they don't want to be adventurous. Like, they don't have time to be adventurous. They want to make sure this is perfect. They want to make sure like they spend the time well because they don't have yeoyoo. They don't want to waste. They don't want to waste money. They don't want to waste time. They don't want to waste anything because they don't have yeoyoo in their mind. So to sum up, if you had some trouble understanding Korean, maybe it's because Korean people didn't have yeoyoo. Maybe like usually here they don't have yeoyoo. So they wouldn't compromise. They would just hurry everything. They would just not have time for you. They would just not do anything nice. That means they don't have yeoyoo. Well, it cannot be excuse, but it's cultural thing. So next time I'll talk more about relationship or dating in Korea and many different cultures in Korea. And also I will explain some Korean words that don't exist in English. So if you enjoyed my video, please like it and subscribe. Thank you.